Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast, your highest source of sacred truths and universal wisdom. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Rachel Fiori, mystic, spiritual teacher, psychic healer, and founder of Masters of Self University. Join our journey of soul transformation as we deep dive into this latest episode. Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode. It's Rachel Fiori, your host for this one. I want you to understand something. There is no such thing as ascension without descension. You cannot ascend if you do not descend first. So I want you to understand what this means. Ascension, awakening, elevating spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, so that your physical body holds more light as you become more enlightened. Okay. People think they have an understanding, and I mean, most people have at least a basic understanding of what enlightenment is, of what ascension is. But here's what we often don't understand. It's not taught to us because we've spent thousands of years in separation consciousness. So separation consciousness is thinking of awakening, ascension as love and light. Don't fall for the trap. That's not what ascension is. That's not what enlightenment is. It is more complicated than that. It is all encompassing. You cannot ascend higher if you do not descend into the darkness first. And I want you to understand what that means. That right there is the way of truth. So if you are an enlightened being, a highly conscious enlightened being, if you are a highly conscious enlightened teacher, where are you then sent as the way of responsibility, as the way of compassion, as the way of wisdom, as the way of selfless service, and other ways, of course, as the way of harmony, to harmonize people, humanity, the planet? In this first example, if you are an enlightened spiritual teacher, you're already super elevated. Doesn't mean you're finished or complete or you don't grow and expand forever as long as you're alive. Yes, all that's true. But you actually descend among the people who are not ascended, awakened, enlightened, healed, whole. They're not there yet. You descend into the vibrational frequencies where they are, those lower, dark, traumatized, unhealed vibrational frequencies. That is a descension in order to enter into the darkness, enter into the negativity or the lower vibrational frequencies in order to teach, alchemize, heal, elevate, uplift, an invitation to rise with me because I've already risen in ascension. Do you understand that? Those teachers invite you to rise too. And they are teachers because they've already accomplished it. They've already done it. And in the way of responsibility and selfless service, they come back down to the level that you're on to help you do the same and achieve the same. Don't you dare listen to my teachings and let your ego take hold of them and misinterpret. You descend downwards does not mean you're inferior. That doesn't fucking exist in enlightened people. Only in separation consciousness and low levels of consciousness do you misinterpret in that way. Second example, what you learn in these teachings, in this type of coaching and healing and elevation and quote unquote ascension, which is really descension, it's both. You learn at Masters of Self University in our coaching programs, for example, when you are triggered and you are in your emotional pain. You don't ignore that pain. You don't cope. You don't pop your fucking anti-anxiety med. You don't drink. You don't resort to your addictions. You don't go hit the gym. You don't go for a run. That's avoidance. That's powerlessness. You dive all the way into within the center of whatever is coming up for you. That is descending. You are literally descending into the darkness. In order, now think about this, okay? And I'm going to use the I am present. I'm going to role model the I am presence, which is what I almost always do. I say I. I refer to myself, me, you are me, and I am you, etc. When who am I? You have to understand who you are first. When I, the divine I, the I am presence, the divine soul that is witnessing, observing, having this human experience. When I, the light that I am, experience the humanness of emotional pain, grief, anger, frustration, fear, the I am presence that I am, I descend into the negative emotion that is being experienced in the human self of me. I descend into it as the way of connection. I connect because the power and the light, the unconditional love, the compassion that I am, the presence, the way of, I am the way of presence that I bring to the darkness, to the negativity, to the fear, to the frustration, to the powerlessness that the human version of me is experiencing. When I, the powerful divine I, bring the ways of oneness that I am to the darkness that I am experiencing in this moment, I descend into that darkness as the light that I am. And because I am the light, I bring the light that I am. I descend into the darkness and I vibrationally transform those lower negative vibrational frequencies, lower negative emotions. I alchemize them, I transform them because I am the light, I am the wisdom, I am the way. Those vibrational frequencies, the negative lower ones, have no choice but to transform, to entrain, to become the light, the vibrational frequencies that I am. That is alchemy. Do you understand? We, the people on this planet, who see all the darkness in the world, and you have been brainwashed and conditioned through powerlessness, that you can't handle the darkness, that the leaders and the powers of this world pick a country, but especially in the United States, the corrupt, horrendous government, the darkness and the evil that steal, that lie, that manipulate, that enslave, that oppress. If you think in your ignorance that you can just focus on meditation and love and light and ignore the darkness, you are not ascending. That's not ascension. That's not authentic awakening. You are unconscious and you're living out programs of powerlessness. I don't care how spiritual you are. It's nothing to do with it. The people who should be leading the world, the people who should be leading this country, the people who should be holding positions of power are people who, as the light that they are, have the power and choose to descend into the darkness in order to transform it from the inside out. Ascension is descension. You do not ascend if you do not descend first. If your inner child is triggered, you have an unhealed inner child wound. I just moved through this with a client today in our coaching session. His inner child got activated. He's like, I sense my inner child. He explained, I can see him. And this awareness came where it was just this low self-worth program. It was a very low, negative, horrific thing to think about yourself. But I'm just going to simplify it and say it was really low self-worth program, and it was basically, it was like, I'm a fuck up, right? Now, normally, what you'll hear all these other people that call themselves coaches and what the fuck ever they want to call themselves, don't think that about yourself. Use your positive affirmations. Think of yourself as positive only. What you think you can you create. Except the ignorance in this and why people just remain unhealed forever. And then you think, oh, yeah, for a while you distract yourself from the fact that this younger version of you who's unhealed thinks that he's such low self-worth, right? He believes that. Like the young boy believed that about himself. Okay. Actual belief. What's a belief? Energetic frequency that you are going to play out and act out and then create the experiences to prove it's true for the rest of your life. Because energy never dies, it can only be transformed. Which is why you work so hard to heal yourself. And you're like, why do these patterns keep showing up? Because you're too busy writing in your goddamn gratitude journal and saying your affirmations instead of descending into the darkness that actually exists. Energy cannot die, it has to be transformed. You can't pretend that little boy doesn't believe that about himself. When there is a part of you that is unhealed, fragmented off, that believes, like, I am a fuck up, that energetic frequency is part of what creates your experiences and your realities for the rest of your life until you transform that vibrational frequency. We are nothing but energy. We are energetic frequencies, period, end. Okay, that's what's so powerful about the work we offer at Masters of Self University. We teach you this. We teach you how to see it. So once you see that, and like, for example, with my client today, that came online and he saw it. And his self-awareness is just absolutely remarkable at this stage of the game. He saw it, expressed it, and then alchemized and healed. We worked together using the ways of oneness. And the teaching after was the teaching I'm offering you today. Do you understand? You cannot ascend if you don't descend first. This is oneness. Separation consciousness is say your affirmations, write in your gratitude journal. Oh, don't think that way about yourself. It already exists within you. It's already been created. It was created that, 7, 8, 9 years old. When it got created, energy never dies. It already exists. So when you realize, oh my gosh, like, this exists. I realize this. This is what I have this in here, this energetic belief, this frequency that says, like, I'm a fuck up. And because that's there, what you do is you create life scenarios, relationships, interactions to prove the false truth of what you are. It's not the way of truth. It's a false truth. Why is it a false truth? Because you're a powerful divine creator being who can create anything you want to create in this lifetime to experience and learn from it. You create it as a temporary truth, as a temporary reality. That's not divine truth. That's my truth. Crap. So my truth is I'm a fuck up. When you realize, oh my God, I carry this inside of me, that my younger version of me believes this about me. No wonder I've created all these problems for all these decades, because energetically, that's where I'm creating from, is that energetic frequency. One of many energetic frequencies that I create from. But that's what makes it so complicated to figure out what's really going on inside of us when we really want to heal. You have hundreds of energetic frequencies that you're creating from at any given point in time. But if this is one of them, you don't know this level of work the way we teach it at Masters of Self University, you're going to have a real hard time finding what's creating the things that you don't want to create and experience. And when these things actually exist inside of you energetically, you write your gratitude journal till the goddamn cows come home. You can say as many affirmations as you want to. This frequency is there. It's there. You have to transform that frequency in order for it to not create a reality that comes back to show you that you are a fuck up. Does this make sense? Go back and listen again at this point. Don't keep listening. If this was hard to understand for some of you, go back and listen again to this point. So, when you realize that exists in you, separation consciousness teaches you things like think happy thoughts. Oh, you know you're not a fuck up. Meditate. Write in your gratitude journal. Write your affirmations. Say your affirmations. There's a million things. Focus on something positive. Focus on the good things about yourself. That's just avoidance. That's powerlessness, that you're not powerful enough to go into the vibrational frequency to heal what's there. That is in there. Transform it. That's descension. That is descending into that vibrational frequency. So I can tell you what I did with my client. I guided him on how to go into it. Already exists inside of him. Like, I'm fuck up. Go into that vibrational frequency. Put it on, wear it. It's already there. You already wear it. You just don't realize it. With divine awareness now, go into that frequency. This is the descending process. Go inside of it, wear it, put it on. Say it. I am a fuck up. Here's the difference. When that little boy created that way back when, he was disconnected from his true divine power. He was not connected to his soul, to his divinity. So when he created as a divine, powerful being that he was unaware that he was, when he created that, that became his truth. And he believed it because he was disconnected from his divinity when he created it. And then here comes all the other programs that get created: embarrassment, shame, low self-worth, et cetera, et cetera. When we move through the healing process and we are becoming the universal ways of oneness and oneness consciousness, we are activating the frequencies and becoming those frequencies. We use the light. I am the way of connection. I am connected to my soul. I am divinity itself in human form. I am the way. And that means the power that I am, all of the ways of oneness that I am, I descend into the, I'm a fuck up belief, that energy, that frequency, that when I'm disconnected from my divinity, feels like agony, feels so painful, feels horrible and shameful and unworthy and a lack of trust in myself and weakness and powerlessness. And I mean, it could go on and on and on and on and on. And that's what gets created inside of us when we are disconnected and unaware of our own divinity. But when you're connected to the truth, I am the way of truth, the truth of what I actually am, when I am connected to that, I bring the truth of what I am. I descend down into the darkness. And I go inside and become the energetic frequency. My light goes inside of the darkness and I become one. What's more powerful, darkness or light? It's light, in case you didn't know. I'm going to give you a second to think about it. So when I bring the light that I am into that vibrational frequency of I'm a fuck up, it's almost laughable what you feel, how silly that is, how false it is. I bring the light of oneness because I am oneness into that frequency. And all of a sudden, that frequency starts vibrating and it starts entraining to the light that you are. It starts alchemizing and completely transforming until you set yourself free of that energetic belief, emotion, mental thought, mental program. It alchemizes it from the inside out. You have to go down, you have to descend down into that negative vibration with the high ascended vibration that you are. They both work together. It is a process of oneness. In separation, you're ignoring and pretending like that isn't true about you. Oh, that's not true. Or you're just avoiding it. Or you're running programs of perfectionism or trying to prove to others you're not, or constantly seeking validation from other people outside of you or neediness. And those are all programs that result from believing I'm unworthy or I'm a fuck up or I'm unlovable or whatever it is for you that you carry inside of you. Ascension is actually the process of descending. You descend into the darkness with the light that you are, and you transform what's there with the power, with the love, with the wisdom, with the vibrational frequencies of divinity that you actually are. And those negative lower vibrations don't stand a chance when you bring what you are to those silly, false, temporary, false truths. They're not the way of truth, but they're false truths. They're false truths because you've created them, which means you're living that reality, and what the consequences and the karma of living that reality looks like, feels like, is like. You're creating that all the time from what's trapped inside of you, the traumas, the beliefs, the unhealed stuff, your mental programs, your emotional programs, your unhealed wounds. But when you do this work and you elevate, there is no such thing as ascension. All these love and light, toxic positivity knuckleheads out there that are avoiding descending, which means you're not ascending at all. You're just as unconscious. You're just playing it out in a different way than you were before, right? Like, oh, I'm enlightened. I'm enlightened. I'm totally healed. I've ascended. I'm 5D. When all you do is just focus on the positive. That's such nonsense. It is absolute nonsense and ignorance to hear that from anybody. And unfortunately, you'll find out the hard way what I'm offering to you. If you're somebody who doesn't believe it or you have to be convinced and any of that crap, you're not ready for this level yet. And that is okay. It's never a judgment, but move on. Because unfortunately, you will find out the hard way of what I am teaching you to be true. When you listen to other people that just focus on positivity and love and light only and gratitude, you're not in the frequency of gratitude just by writing down what you're grateful for. It's not that easy. It's not how it works. Okay. And I'm not saying that to put anybody or anything down. I'm never bashing. I'm never coming from judgment. If you think I am, you have a lot of fucking healing to do within yourself. It doesn't come from me. It's your projection. You're the one judging me, which is why you're pretending like I'm judging. It's ridiculous that you can't see your projections, some of you. But this is what I'm here to teach you so you can awaken for real. And that means acute level of self-awareness. And that also includes understanding what the process of ascension is. That's oneness consciousness. These are the teachings of oneness consciousness. So the more you elevate, the deeper and darker you're able to go because you're more powerful. Let me explain what that means. When you learn these processes at Masters of Self University and our coaching programs and classes, etc., when you learn this, you heal a little bit at a time. Why? Because you're learning how to grow, how to connect to your divinity, your soul, the light that you are, the universe, source. That's all the same thing that you are. You are that. That is you. You're learning how to awaken, become more enlightened, ascend, You elevate and expand in your level of light. And from that place, you were able to heal more things within yourself at a given time. You can heal more the more powerful you become. That makes sense, doesn't it? That's easy to understand. When you heal more because you're becoming more powerful, that means more of your darkness, more of your traumas, more of your unhealed stuff, more of your ugly programs that you're so ashamed of and you don't want anybody to know about you. The more that's able to come up to the surface to be seen, so that as the way of responsibility, you take ownership of it as the process and as the way of patience, as the process and as the way of surrender, learning how to flow through those negative emotions, those traumas, those unhealed, ugly programs. You are becoming these vibrational frequencies, which allows you to go deeper, dive deeper, and descend into the darkness that you've become and played out over the years, all your unhealed shit. How do you descend more deeply? You become more powerful. You expand your light. You become more powerful in your light. You become more powerful in the way of unconditional love, in the way of trust of yourself to be able to handle more in order to heal more. Does this make sense? So the process that you move through when you heal in this way, the process of learning this in order to get certified and become a certified mystical life coach, you're descending into the darkness, but never, and I mean never, 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 ever do you just plummet and descend without having the way of connection, the power, the presence of your divine light. You learn that first, and then you descend a little bit into your darkness, into your pain, into your unhealed stuff. And then you ascend more, you expand more in your light, you hold more light in your physical vessel, that's ascension. And then you have more power and more ability to descend further, deeper into the wounds that are there that are unhealed. And that's the process. So, on an individual level, you are becoming, expanding your light, your divinity, connecting to that in a more elevated way so that you have the power to then descend when you're triggered and you're running mental programs, you're running emotional programs. When you get triggered into your shit, your behavioral programs, acting like an ugly person, projecting onto other people, attacking people on social media or, wherever in your communities, online communities, and you're being passive aggressive and making your nasty comments and whatever you're doing. That is your darkness. That's your shadow self. And you cannot alchemize that if you do not learn and practice what it means and move through energetically the experience of connecting to your divinity, which is your true source of power, your life force energy. That's your soul. That's your formless, eternal, cosmic self that you are tapping into and inviting more and more of that aspect of you to integrate into your human self, come online more so that you are more powerful in your ability to descend into your ugly programming when you're triggered, into your anxiety, your depression, your gaslighting, your defensiveness, your emotional fragility, right? Like that's a descension. If you descend into your darkness and go into your fear, your anxiety, your depression, your panic, and you're not connected to the light that you are, if you just descend, that is where your programming turns into true clinical depression and serious issues and suicidal tendencies and things like that. Like it seems like you can't get out of it because you're disconnected from the light that you are. Does this make sense? You seem to not be able to get out of it. Well, because you're descending without the ascension process first, without the light, the connectedness of your own divinity, without connecting to your source of power, your source of life force energy, your own divinity. Of course, you're going to get lost in the darkness. That's why so many people with addiction struggle with addictions for so long, and they have such a hard time coming out of them because you're disconnected from your power. And in some rehab programs that are very well known, you're taught to repeat over and over and over again, I am powerless to my addiction. What the fuck are we teaching people? It's actually the opposite of that is the truth. You have to learn energetically how to connect to your source of power in order to then grow and expand that source of power. That's the ascension aspect of it. Because once you're able to do that and you connect to your light and you feel the light flowing through you, your divinity, the power that you are, the healing that you are, the healer that you are, because you're now connected to the energy that is divine light, that is you. You then use that aspect of you, the I am presence that you're connecting to and learning how to expand. You're using the I am presence to then descend into the darkness, the unhealed stuff, into the programs of addiction, etc., powerlessness, etc. And you learn how to alchemize them layer after layer after layer. Does this make sense? Ascension is actually the process of descension, of descending into the darkness. You cannot descend without ascension because it's oneness. It's not separation consciousness anymore that we are learning and becoming. If you jump out of an airplane with no parachute, you're going to plummet to the ground. And 99.99% chance die, whatever the actual percentage is. Plummet out of a plane, drop out of a plane, plummet to the ground, die. Right? Think about that. That is you trying to handle your depression and anxiety and traumas and unhealed stuff on your own, disconnected from the source that you are, from the cosmic being that you are. Okay? But you can jump out of an airplane with a parachute, can't you? And actually, as you descend down, it's powerful, it's invigorating. And what happens when you land at the bottom? All this adrenaline rush that is happening while you're descending. There's all this adrenaline, there's all this, oh my God, exhilaration. And then when you land at the bottom safely, securely, you just feel like you accomplished this major, crazy thing. How exciting, how thrilling. Oh my God, I did it. That is the true process of ascension, which is never without descension. Because it feels scary and you're plummeting down to earth, you're plummeting into your darkness, but you have your parachute on. You are connected to your light during the descending process. And because of that, you're alchemizing, you're healing, you're actually elevating, you're ascending while you're descending. Let that one sink in. This is oneness. So, when you realize you have inner child wounds that are still present and getting activated in your relationships and your everyday life or whatever your scenario is, when you realize there's unhealed stuff in there and you misunderstand the partial teachings that have some truth in them that are offered you out there. Like, be careful what you focus on. That's a good that's a good piece of advice. I say that myself. Be very careful what you focus on, because what you really focus on, you create more of that. There is truth in that. There is. There is. You'll hear me say that. But I want you to understand more deeply. We are in such spiritual preschool that you don't understand when you hear something like that. People just take that as a black and white absolutism. Be careful what you focus on, which means, oh, this aspect of my inner child thinks I'm fuck up, really believes I'm a fuck up. Holy crap, I see it now. And so, oh, I don't want to focus on that. I'll just focus on the fact that I'm amazing. Oh, here's my affirmations. No, it isn't about focusing on the aspect of you, the 7, 8, 9-year-old child who believes he's a fuck up. You're validating. You are becoming the way of honoring. You're honoring the vibrational frequency that's there. It's there. You're seeing it for what it is with zero judgment. You're embracing it and loving it. That is the power of this work. You descend into it with the ascended light divine you that you are. And you descend into it and you embrace it. I am the way of unconditional love. I am the way of patience with this. I am the way of surrender with this so that I can flow with it in order to alchemize it. You take your divine self and you descend and you meet yourself, that aspect of you that is unhealed. You meet you, that aspect of you where you are at the negative, lower vibrational frequency that you are. If you are lost in a jungle because your plane crashed and you need a helicopter to come pick you up, don't they descend where you are at the crash site to pick you up and rescue you? Think about that. They're descending to rescue you, to lift you up and out. That is what you learn how to do with this work. That is what I want everyone in the world to learn how to do with their pain and their trauma and their unhealed stuff. To connect energetically, literally, to the light and the divinity that you are, the I am presence, and bring the I am presence online and descend into those dark aspects of you that need the I am presence so desperately. Because that is what true, authentic healing requires and is. That is the power that you have. That is the power that the people that rule the world currently, all the darkness and evil, don't ever want you to realize and know. Why do you think spiritual people, quote unquote, have been brainwashed to stay away from positions of power and politics? It's all part of brainwashing. They think they're so enlightened. They think they're ascending. They think they're awakening. They avoid politics and leadership positions like the plague, and they claim it's because they're humble. I hope you're waking up to the brainwashing bullshit that you've bought into up until now. That's not awakening. That's not light. That's not ego-free. Avoidance is not ego-free. Ego avoids. Divinity descends into the darkest, scariest places and rescues and saves and heals and loves and supports. If you have children that are being abused, don't you go into the home, to the home, inside of the home, into the darkness to save and rescue and bring your love and light and nurturing and support to the children that you take out of the home. You cannot save them without descending into the darkness. Do you understand? You cannot save yourself without descending into the darkness. You cannot save our government. You cannot save humanity without descending into the darkness with the light that you are, alchemize and transform from the inside out. It is time to rise and realize why you're here in this lifetime. It is time to rise and realize that you have a bigger mission than your scared little ego wants you to realize. Rise and realize the powers that be do nothing. They've spent millions and billions and trillions of dollars in brainwashing you so that you'll never, ever get out of fear state of being in order for you to never realize the level of power you actually have. So you'll never infiltrate positions of power and leadership and politics. And your delusional brainwashed minds will say, that's not spiritual. Now, what's not spiritual is avoiding darkness when you're the only one that can transform the darkness. You think the darkness wants to transform itself into light? Wake up. You have incarnated in this lifetime, this time around, to awaken to the highest level of oneness consciousness you can achieve, enter into the darkest places on this planet so you can transform it with the light that you are. We are all meant to do that together. So rise. Stop acting like you're some powerless, pathetic little only me, one person. What can I do? That's your brainwashing talking. That's not your soul. It's time to listen to your soul. Your soul is calling you to rise. It's time. Like, subscribe, and share, please. Comment below. I would love to hear from you. Share this with everyone you know. Join this revolution. Become a being of oneness. Go to mastersofselfuniversity.com for help. Go check out rachelfiori24.com if you want to support my presidential campaign. And if you're interested in joining the American Congress Party and making a bigger difference by taking more action, we are looking for warriors and people who are ready to rise. The invitation is there. The call is there. I'm calling you. How many of you are going to answer that call? Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.